Do you think you're good at doing multiple things at once? Before you answer that question, think of how a flashlight works. It can only shine on one thing at a time. Your brain is a lot like a flashlight. It can only focus on one thing effectively at a time. Have you ever had a conversation with someone while watching a movie or TV show? You either miss what the other person is saying or you miss what's being said on the screen. Your brain can't focus on both things at once. When you think you're multitasking, your brain is just switching back and forth between the two tasks, and it's much less effective than just focusing on one thing until it's done. Studies show that when your brain is constantly bouncing back and forth between tasks, especially when those tasks require your active attention, you become less efficient and more likely to make a mistake. That can be deadly if you're driving. If you choose to drive distracted or multitask behind the wheel, you can easily make a mistake and miss up to 50% of what you should be seeing. Here, we can see everything a driver should be paying attention to. But as mentioned, a driver can miss half of what's important if they're distracted or multitasking behind the wheel. Distracted driving is not only dangerous, but it can be deadly. Here's why. Just talking on a phone, even hands-free, can be as dangerous as driving drunk. Texting while driving is even worse. Studies show that people who text while driving are more likely to be involved in a crash than non-distracted drivers. Sending or reading a text takes your eyes off the road for around 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving the length of an entire football field with your eyes closed. Other driving distractions like eating, drinking, or reaching for something in the car can be just as deadly. Distracted driving affects all age groups. It's not limited to younger or inexperienced drivers, and it's against the law for everyone.
So it was January 11th, 2016. It was a Monday morning. My husband had dropped Bailey off at school that morning. Her and her friend had decided that they were gonna go and get Frappuccinos. They had been at school, had about a half an hour before school was gonna start, so they had plenty of time. They were walking across the crosswalk. The cars on the west side of the road had stopped for them. They saw the truck pull out of the Gold's Gym parking lot and thought, you know, we have plenty of time, he sees us. He had leaned over to grab a shaker bottle and did not have his eyes on the road and hit my daughter and her friend. Her friend went to the side of the road, the east side of the road, and my daughter was left in the middle of the road. The second car was paying attention and pulled over into the medium and stopped. The third car was not. She was talking to her passenger, and she said that she saw what she thought was laundry in the road, so she chose to center it on her. After she centered it on her, she continued to drag my daughter over 50 yards down the road. I had somebody calling me. My ringer was actually off on my phone, and there was a phone call, and it was a blocked number, which I normally would not answer. So I answered, and it told me, you know, this is Layton City Police Department. I don't remember what his name was. He said, your daughter has been involved in an auto pedestrian accident. It's very, very serious. And everybody says it's not gonna happen to me. If you would have asked me a couple years ago, I would say, not my little girl. She wouldn't be hit. Nobody should have to go through that. No family should have to go through that over something as little as pulling over and parking your car instead of taking your eyes off the road when you're driving.
Your voice matters, even if you're not old enough to drive yet. By speaking up and educating others about the dangers of distracted driving, you can make the road safer for everyone. Here's what you can do. Start a conversation with your family members or loved ones who drive. Let them know you care about their safety and want to discuss the risks of driving distracted. Share what you've learned about distracted driving. Explain how distractions can be dangerous and deadly for everyone on the road. Be a responsible passenger. Avoid activities that could distract the driver, such as loud conversations or playing with gadgets. Make a pledge to avoid distractions when it's your turn to drive. Encourage your friends and family to do the same. By spreading awareness and advocating for distraction-free driving, you can make a difference. If you start now by speaking up against distracted driving, you'll set the stage for safer journeys when the time comes for you to take the wheel.